when you're like trying to speak English and
Mhm.
you know the words, you know the grammar mostly,
Mhm.
but it just doesn't quite flow.
Like you're translating word for word in your head.
Exactly. Or you just keep saying the same basic things over and over. Hello, how are you? Yes. It
Well,
feels stiff.
right. Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. We want to help you bridge that gap, sound more natural, more fluent, more like, well, you.
And we've got this fantastic source to guide us, a really thorough lesson from Sarah over at Native English. She's compiled like 100 common phrases.
100.
Yeah.
It's packed. These are the kinds of things native speakers use all the time, often without even thinking about it.
Okay, 100 sounds like a lot, maybe a bit intimidating.
It does, but think of it less like memorizing a giant list and more like getting 100 keys to unlock smoother conversations.
Right. So our mission today isn't just going to be reading out 100 phrases. That'd be boring.
Definitely. We want to dig into the why and the when. What's the feeling behind, hey, how's it going, versus just, hi? Why does saying exactly feel different from just, yes?
We're going beyond the textbook, getting into the rhythm and the feel of real everyday English.
Precisely. It's about understanding those little nuances, the social context these phrases carry. It's not just vocabulary. It's about connection, really.
Okay. So settle in, everyone. We're going to be here for a bit, covering a lot of ground.
Yeah, we'll look at greetings, asking how someone really is, agreeing, showing surprise.
Making requests politely, offering help, talking about plans, ending conversations without sounding abrupt, all that good stuff.
Ready to jump in?
Let's do it, starting right at the beginning. Greetings.
Okay, so hi. Everyone knows hi.
The classic. Can't go wrong, usually. But Sarah points out if you want to sound a bit more friendly, a bit more casual, maybe.
She suggests things like, hey, how's it going? Or what's up?
What's the vibe difference there? Is it just friendlier?
It is friendlier, yeah. But it also implies a bit more familiarity, I think. Like, hi is safe for anyone. Your boss, a stranger.
Right.
But, hey, how's it going? Or, what's up? You probably wouldn't say what's up to, like, the CEO you're meeting for the first time.
Good point. It signals a certain level of comfort. Exactly.
It sets a more relaxed tone right from the start.
Yeah.
Sarah's example was running into a friend at the supermarket.
Oh, yeah.
Hello is fine, but hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Just feels more natural in that context, doesn't it?
Totally. It invites a slightly more real answer than just fine. Like, not bad, just grabbing some milk.
Right, it opens the door crack wider.
Yeah.
And then there's the one for when you see someone unexpectedly after ages.
Ah, yes. Long time no see. Essential phrase.
Absolutely. Sarah uses the example of, like, bumping into an old classmate you haven't seen in years.
You wouldn't just say hi, would you? It'd be weird.
You would feel really flat. But, hey, long time no see. How have you been? It acknowledges the gap.
Yeah, it immediately says, wow, it's been a while, but I remember you and I'm glad to see you.
Exactly. It bridges that time gap instantly. It kind of skips over any potential awkwardness.
It validates that past connection. A simple, hi after 10 years, almost dismissive, long time no see says, let's catch up.
Precisely. It's efficient emotional communication, really.
Okay, so we've said hello. Now, asking how someone is doing, beyond the standard, how are you?
Right, because how are you often gets that automatic fine, thanks, and you response.
Yeah, it's almost like a script.
So Sarah suggests alternatives like, how are things? Or
Yeah.
how's everything? What's the difference there, do you think?
They feel a little broader, less likely to get just fine.
I think so too. How are things? Or how's everything? Feels like it invites a bit more detail, maybe about different parts of their life, not just their immediate state of being.
Right. Sarah's examples were good, like asking specifically, how's everything going with that new project?
Yeah, or how are things with the family?
Yeah.
It shows you're actually interested in their specific situation, not just going through the motions.
It feels more like genuine curiosity.
Definitely. And she suggests practicing this. Like, think of a friend who started a new job and actually say out loud, hey, how are things going with the new role?
And then imagine their answer, oh, it's pretty good, still finding my feet,
Exactly. That mental rehearsal, actually vocalizing it, it really helps lodge the phrase in your brain so it comes out more naturally later.
Builds that muscle memory. Okay, so we've greeted, we've asked how they are. What about showing agreement? Saying yes in a more engaging way.
Yeah, because just yes can sometimes sound a bit abrupt.
Okay.
Or maybe like you're not fully convinced.
Or just minimally responsive.
Right. So Sarah gives us exactly, and that's so true. These add a bit more punch.
Okay, exactly. That feels like total alignment, right? Like, you read my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, that's precisely my thought.
Yep.
That's so true, on the other hand. Feels more like you're validating their observation based on your own experience or knowledge.
Ah, okay. Like Sarah's example. Someone says, learning English takes time. You reply, exactly, you can't rush it. That's perfect alignment.
Or if someone says, this heat wave is just draining, you might say, ugh, that's so true. I have zero energy. You're confirming it with your own feeling.
It adds that personal connection. You're not just agreeing, you're relating.
Precisely. And Sarah has a little practice for this too. Think about something like, weekends are way too short.
Oh, definitely.
A good response? Totally. They just fly by.
Yeah.
Totally is another great informal one for strong agreement.
Yeah, totally is super common. Quick, easy, enthusiastic.
Very efficient. Okay, so agreement covered. What about surprise? Something unexpected happens or is said. How do we react naturally?
This is where conversations get fun. Instead of a flat, oh, really? Sarah suggests, no way, or kidding.
Much more energy in those, right? They show genuine reaction. Is there a difference between no way and you're kidding?
Maybe intensity? No way. Can feel a bit stronger, like genuine disbelief.
Yeah, I think so. You're kidding can sometimes have a slightly lighter feel, maybe even a bit playful, depending on the tone. Like, you're pulling my leg.
That makes sense. Sarah's examples were good. Friend says, I won the lottery. You don't say, oh, really?
No, you say, no way. Seriously, that's amazing.
Right. Matches the energy. Or if someone says, I bumped into a famous actor at the coffee shop this morning.
You're kidding. What did you say? Invites the story, shows you're hooked?
Exactly. It keeps the conversation alive, makes the other person feel heard. And Sarah suggests practicing this mentally.
Yeah, imagine someone tells you something wild. They're moving to Antarctica. They adopted 5 puppies.
React in your head, no way. Or, you're kidding. Get used to that feeling, that verbal reflex.
It makes your real-life reactions feel less forced, more spontaneous. Okay, shifting gears. Needing help. Asking for something.
Right. We don't want to sound demanding. Help me is a bit blunt.
Yeah, a bit caveman-like. So politeness is key. Sarah suggests, can you do me a favor, and would you mind helping me out?
Okay, can you do me a favor? Seems a bit more casual. Like for a friend or colleague you know well.
I'd agree. Would you mind helping me out? Feels slightly more formal, maybe for a bigger ask or someone you know less well. The would you mind structure is inherently more polite.
Yeah, gives them an easier out if they need it. Sarah's examples. Instead of check my email, it's, can you do me a favor and quickly glance over this email?
Much better. Or instead of give me a ride, it's would you mind giving me a ride if you're heading that way?
It just lands differently, doesn't it? Shows respect for their time and willingness.
Absolutely. It's acknowledging you're imposing, even slightly. And there's a practice scenario. Need help moving a box.
Right. You'd say, excuse me, would you mind giving me a hand with this box for a second?
And imagine the reply. Sure, no problem. Where's it going? Practicing that whole exchange helps.
Definitely. Okay, flip side. Offering help. Someone looks like they're struggling.
Instead of just watching them sweat.
Right. You can jump in with, do you need a hand? Or let me know if you need anything.
What's the difference there? Do you need a hand? Sounds more immediate. Maybe physical help?
Yeah, like carrying bags, opening a door, let me know if you need anything. Feels broader. Like general support is available if they ask.
Makes sense. Sarah's examples. Helping clean up after a party. Do you need a hand with these dishes? Versus seeing someone look stressed. Hey, you seem overwhelmed. Let me know if you need anything. Okay.
Shows you're aware and willing. And the practice. See a friend juggling books.
You'd say, whoa, need a hand there, or let me get some of those for you.
Simple, helpful, natural. Okay, what about talking about plans? Casual arrangements.
Ah, yes. Sarah highlights a super common informal one. I'm down for that.
Love that one. It's more than just yes, isn't it? It's like enthusiastic agreement.
Totally. I'm down for that. It says yes, and I'm keen, I'm willing, I'm happy to join in. Very relaxed.
Sarah's example. We're thinking of hitting the beach later. Want to come?
Yeah, I'm down for that. Sounds great. Much better than a formal, yes, I would like to accompany you.
Definitely. And another simple confirmation phrase.
Sounds good. The workhorse phrase for agreeing to plans?
So versatile. Meet at 5. Sounds good. Pizza tonight. Sounds good.
Exactly. Clear, concise, positive. Works in almost any situation where a plan is proposed. Sarah's practice. Friend asks if you still want to grab coffee tomorrow.
Yep. Sounds good. What time works for you? Easy.
Perfect. Okay, so the conversation is winding down.
Hmm.
How to exit gracefully.
Not just bye, which can feel a bit abrupt sometimes.
Yeah, especially after a nice chat. Sarah suggests warmer options like, "I catch you later," or "Talk to you soon."
What's the subtle difference? Catch you later feels like you expect to see them again soon, maybe later today or tomorrow.
Often, yeah. Pretty casual. "Talk to you soon" is maybe a bit more general. Could be seeing them, could be calling, texting. No fixed time, but the intention to connect again is there.
Both feel warmer, less final than just goodbye. Sarah's example. Well, it was great chatting. I should probably get going. I'll catch you later.
Nice and smooth.
Huh.
Leaves a positive feeling. And she suggests actively thinking about your last conversation.
Right. Imagine ending it with, okay, gotta run. Talk to you soon. Take care.
How does that feel compared to just waving goodbye?
It reinforces that connection, even as you part ways. Little things make a difference.
Okay, and those little conversational ticks people add to the end of sentences?
Like, you know what I mean? And
Right.
super common.
Why do people use those so much? Is it just habit?
Partly habit, but they serve a function. They're like little checks for engagement or agreement. You know what I mean? Invites empathy. Like, can you relate to this feeling?
Okay. And right is more like seeking confirmation. Am I correct about this, or do you agree?
Exactly. Sarah's examples. It's hard to focus when it's so noisy. You know what I mean? That pulls the listener in.
Or, this movie is supposed to be amazing, right?
Mm.
Asking for their input or confirmation. They make it feel less like a lecture and more like a shared exploration of ideas. And the practice. Take a simple statement.
This coffee is really strong. And add the tag. This coffee is really strong, isn't it? Or this coffee is really strong, makes it instantly more conversational.
It does. It invites a response. So that's a good sweep of the initial conversational building blocks, greetings, checking in, agreeing, reacting, requesting, offering, planning, ending, and keeping the listener hooked.
Yeah, and it's amazing how these small shifts in phrasing can make such a big difference in sounding natural.
Absolutely fundamental. Okay, let's move into expressing emotions and opinions a bit more deeply. Happiness first.
Right. Someone shares good news. Instead of just good, Sarah offers, I'm so glad to hear that. That's awesome. Or I'm so happy for you.
Now, what do these add? It's genuine enthusiasm, isn't it? Empathy?
Yeah, it shows you're actually invested in their good news, not just acknowledging it politely. Friend gets a new job.
You don't just say good, you say, "No way, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you." Much more impactful.
Totally. Sarah suggests practicing with things like someone passing a big test. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. You worked so hard for it.
Exactly. Matching your words to the positive emotion. Now, the flip side. Bad news.
Tricky sometimes. Sarah suggests that's too bad, and I'm sorry to hear that.
How do those differ? That's too bad. Feels maybe a little more general, like acknowledging misfortune.
Yeah, maybe slightly more detached. I'm sorry to hear that. Feels more personal, more direct empathy.
I think so. It expresses more personal concern. Sarah's examples are good here. Someone's dog is sick.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope she feels better really soon. Adding that little wish makes a big difference.
It does, or someone didn't get the job they wanted. "Oh, that's too bad. I'm really sorry to hear that." Keep your chin up, though. Acknowledging the disappointment, but adding encouragement.
That combination is key, empathy, plus a touch of hope or support. And practice saying, I'm sorry to hear that, followed by something kind.
Yeah, getting comfortable offering that verbal support when needed. Okay, what about showing you understand someone's feeling or situation, even if it's not good or bad news, just relating?
Phrases like, I get it, and I know what you mean. Brilliant for connections.
Super useful.
Yeah.
Nuance between them. I get it, feels like. You grasp the whole situation.
Yeah, like a complete understanding, I know what you mean, might be more specific. Like, you relate to a particular point they made based on your own experience.
That sounds right. Sarah's example, friend says, "I'm just feeling so burnt out lately."
A good response. Ugh, I totally get it. End of the year is always like that. Shows immediate understanding.
Validates their feeling completely.
Yeah.
And the practice. Someone says, "I hate trying to work with all this construction noise outside."
You could say, oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's impossible to concentrate. Shared frustration.
Right. Creates that instant bond.
Yeah.
Okay, but what if you don't understand? What if you miss something or are confused?
Crucial skill. Asking for clarification politely. Don't just nod and pretend.
Absolutely. Sarah gives us, "Could you say that again? And what do you mean by that?"
Okay, could you say that again? It's pretty straightforward. You just didn't hear it properly, right? Need repetition.
Exactly. Maybe they spoke too fast or it was noisy. What do you mean by that? It's different. You heard the words, but the meaning isn't clear.
Like they used jargon or an idiom you don't know, or their point was ambiguous.
Precisely. Sarah's example, someone's rushing through instructions. Sorry, could you say that again a bit slower?
Or they use a confusing term. I'm not sure I follow. What do you mean by synergize exactly?
Right. Politely seeking clarity. And practicing, sorry, could you say that again? Get comfortable interrupting politely.
It's better than getting lost. Okay, filler words. Those little pauses when you're thinking.
Yes, makes you sound human, not robotic. And Sarah highlights, let me think. And, well, you know.
Let me think. It's pretty obvious signals you need a moment to process.
Yep, buys you time openly. Well, you know, is more versatile. It can soften something, introduce a common idea, or just bridge thoughts.
Like if someone asks, what's your favorite book? You might say, ooh, let me think. That's a really tough question. Sounds natural.
Totally. Or you're explaining something complex. Well, you know, it's complicated because it kind of eases you into the explanation.
And Sarah suggests practicing little phrases like, well, I guess, or let me see.
Yeah, get comfortable with not having an instant perfect answer. Those little fillers are part of natural speech rhythm.
Okay, making suggestions, friendly proposals.
Sarah gives us how about and why don't we?
How are they different? How about feels maybe a bit more open, like, here's an idea, what do you think?
Yeah, maybe slightly less directive. Why don't we?
Yeah.
Sounds a bit more like a joint action, a collaborative suggestion. Still friendly, though.
Right. Examples. It's a lovely evening. How about a walk?
Or, we need a change of scenery. Why don't we try that new cafe? Both sound inviting.
Much better than, we should go for a walk, and the practice, suggesting a movie night.
Hey, why don't we just stay in and watch a movie tonight?
Simple, casual, collaborative. Perfect. Okay, changing the subject smoothly. Avoid that awkward silence or abrupt shift.
The magic transition phrases, Sarah points out, by the way. And speaking of that.
Okay, by the way. Feels like it can introduce something totally unrelated, right?
It's a general topic shift. You're talking about work. Then, by the way, did you hear about Sarah's new puppy?
Right. Speaking of that, needs a link, doesn't it? It connects to what was just said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're talking about Italian food, then speaking of Italy, are you still planning that trip? Creates a smoother bridge.
Makes sense. And the practice. Moving from talking about lunch to asking about someone's brother.
Yeah, the salad was pretty good.
Yeah.
By the way, how's your brother doing? I heard he was starting college. That, by the way, makes it work.
Keeps the conversation flowing. Okay, disagreement. The polite kind.
Essential skill. Avoid sounding argumentative. Sarah offers, I see your point, but, and I'm not sure I agree with that.
I see your point, but is great because it validates them first, right? Shows you listened.
Absolutely. It acknowledges their perspective before you offer yours. I'm not sure I agree is maybe a touch more direct in its disagreement, but the not sure softens it hugely. It's not, you're wrong.
Right. Sarah's example about online learning. Instead of, no, it's bad, you say.
I see your point about the convenience, but I sometimes find it harder to stay motivated without face-to-face interaction. Acknowledges, then contrasts.
Much more constructive. And the practice phrase. I see your point, but I tend to look at it from a slightly different angle.
Nice, general way to introduce an alternative view respectfully. Okay, bigger surprise. Amazement, disbelief.
Beyond just, no way. Sarah gives us, that's crazy and I can't believe it.
These pack more punch. That's crazy. Feels very informal, reaction to something wild, maybe unbelievable or shocking.
Yeah. I can't believe it is a more direct statement of astonishment, like something exceeded your expectations or seems impossible.
Sarah's example, seeing a bear by the lake.
You're kidding. That's crazy. Was it close? Makes his disbelief and concern.
Very natural reaction. And practice with amazing travel stories. Someone trekked across the desert.
Wow, I can't believe you did that. That must have been incredible, matching the scale of the story.
Exactly. Okay, last one for this section. Reassurance. Someone messes up slightly, feels awkward.
You want to smooth it over. Sarah suggests, don't worry about it, and it's not a big deal.
Pretty similar, right? Both downplay the issue. Any subtle difference?
Maybe don't worry about it is slightly more focused on alleviating their anxiety. It's not a big deal.
Oger's focuses more on the lack of negative consequences. Very subtle, though.
Yeah, basically interchangeable in most cases. Sarah's classic example. Someone spills coffee.
They apologize profusely. You say, oh, please don't worry about it. It's just coffee. Happens all the time. It's no big deal. Instantly diffuses the situation.
Right. Makes them feel less embarrassed. And the practice. Someone forgot to return your call.
Hey, no worries at all. Don't worry about it. I know how busy things get. Understanding and reassurance. Perfect. So, wow, that's another big chunk. Covered emotions, opinions, clarification, fillers, suggestions, transitions, disagreement, surprise, reassurance. All crucial for nuanced chat.
Yeah, these are the tools that really elevate your conversation beyond just exchanging basic information. It's about the relationship, the interaction.
Precisely. Ready for the final stretch?
Yeah.
More everyday phrases and putting it all together.
Let's do it. Okay, giving opinions honestly, but wanting to signal that sincerity.
Right, especially if the opinion might be slightly critical or unexpected. Sarah suggests starting with, to be honest, or honestly speaking.
What does adding that do? It's like a little flag saying, okay, real talk coming up.
Exactly. It signals candor. It prepares the listener that you're offering your genuine thought, not just being polite.
Sarah's example. Talking about a movie. To be honest, I thought the plot was a bit weak. It's gentler than just saying the plot was weak.
It is. Or about food. Honestly speaking, I think it needed more salt. Direct feedback, but framed sincerely.
And the practice. Commenting on a friend's new haircut they're unsure about.
Maybe. To be honest, it's quite different, but I think it really suits your face shape. Honest, but still kind.
Tactful honesty. Okay, talking about future plans or intentions casually.
Sarah gives us, I'm planning to. And I'm thinking of. We touched on this, but the difference is commitment level, right?
Yeah, planning to sounds more definite, like steps have been taken or are about to be. Thinking of is more exploratory, an idea you're considering.
Right, I'm planning to visit my parents next weekend versus I'm thinking of starting yoga. One's booked, one's an idea.
And practice. I'm thinking of redecorating the living room, or I'm planning to finish this report by Friday. Everyday stuff.
Exactly. Okay, offers and requests again, but focusing on those really polite forms, offers first.
Sarah suggests, do you want me to? And would you like me to? The would you like feels more formal, more polite.
Definitely. It gives the other person more space to decline gracefully. Compare, do you want me to carry that with, would you like me to help you with your luggage? The second feels a bit more deferential.
Makes sense. And for polite requests.
The classics. Could you please, and it would be okay if. These are gold standards for respectful requests.
Super useful, especially in slightly more formal settings or with people you don't know well. Could you please email me that link?
Or, would it be okay if I borrowed your pen for a moment? Very considerate framing, and Sarah has practice for these too.
Offering help with shopping. Would you like me to grab a cart for you? Polite offer.
And asking for help. Could you please show me how to use this feature on the app? Clear, polite request.
Good examples. Yeah, giving advice or suggestions.
Common phrases. You should, and if I were you, I'd.
Difference in directness here? You should feels quite strong, like direct advice.
It is. It's stating what you think is the best action. If I were you, I'd is softer. It frames the advice hypothetically from your perspective, which can feel less imposing.
Right. You look exhausted. You should go home and rest. Direct advice.
Versus, wow, you look tired. If I were you, I'd probably call it a day and get some rest. Slightly gentler.
And the practice. Recommending a restaurant. You should try the tacos there. They're incredible. Direct.
Or troubleshooting tech. If I were you, I'd try turning it off and on again. Hypothetical suggestion.
Got it. Okay, quick agreement again, the short, punchy ones.
Sarah reminds us, that's true, I agree, and exactly. Efficient and clear.
Good for keeping the pace going. Someone says sleep is so important.
That's true. Or learning takes effort. I agree. Or this view is stunning. Exactly. Quick confirmations.
Easy peasy. And the flip side. Gentle, brief disagreement.
Sarah gives us, I'm not so sure about that, and that might be true, but good alternatives to just saying no.
How do they soften it? I'm not so sure expresses doubt rather than outright contradiction, right? Leaves room for discussion.
Exactly. And that might be true, but acknowledges some validity in their point before adding your counterpoint.
Yeah.
Very balanced.
Sarah's example. Waking up early is the best. Response. That might be true for some, but I'm definitely a night owl. Acknowledges, then differs.
Perfect. And practice? Reacting to fast food is delicious?
I'm not so sure about that. I prefer home-cooked meals, usually. Polite difference of opinion.
Great. Okay, more casual fillers showing understanding or a bit of uncertainty.
We had, you know what I mean, earlier. Sarah adds kind of and sort of. Super common.
How do these work? They soften things, right?
Makes
statements less absolute.
Yeah, express approximation or slight uncertainty. Was the meeting useful? Kind of. Or how's the project going? It's sort of complicated right now.
Makes the language less stark, more nuanced,
Uh-huh.
and practice combining them. The explanation was sort of confusing, you know what I mean?
Very natural sounding. Okay, confirming things with question tags again.
The little add-ons, right? And Dad, isn't it?
Hmm.
Sarah emphasizes how they invite interaction.
Turn a statement into a mini question. It's cold today, isn't it?
Oh, you sent that email, right? Seeking confirmation. Essential for checking understanding and keeping the other person involved.
Practice. You enjoyed the party, right? Or, this restaurant is lovely, isn't it? Simple but effective.
Very. Okay. Needing to leave in a hurry. The polite escape phrases.
Sarah gives, I gotta run, and I'm in a bit of a hurry.
How to use these well. Usually best to add a little softener or reason, right? Not just blurt it out.
Yeah, like, oh, look at the time. Sorry, I've got to run. I have another meeting. Or, it was great seeing you, but I'm in a bit of a hurry to catch my train.
Makes it less abrupt. Practice saying them smoothly so they don't sound panicked when you need them.
Good tip. Lastly, expressing uncertainty politely when you don't know something.
Instead of just, I don't know, which can sound unhelpful, Sarah suggests, I'm not sure, and let me check and get back to you.
Much better, especially professionally. I'm not sure is softer than I don't know, and let me check shows willingness to find the answer.
Exactly. I'm not sure what time the event starts, let me check the invitation. Or, I'm not sure how to fix that, but let me find someone who can help. Sounds proactive.
Useful everywhere. Casual chats to work emails.
Absolutely. Okay, wow. That's a lot of individual phrases. Now, the crucial part is seeing how they weave together. Sarah's example conversations are great for this.
Yeah, let's look at the workplace one. Starts with, hey, how's your day going?
Natural reply. Not bad, kinda busy. You. Use of kinda there.
Then, same here. Totally swamped. You know how it is. Using totally and that tag question.
Empathy. Yeah, I get it. Then the topic shift. By the way, did you finish that report?
Confirmation. Almost. Need to double check a few things. I'll send it over this afternoon, okay? Seeking agreement there.
And the close. Sounds good, thanks. See, lots of the phrases packed into a short, totally normal exchange.
It flows so well because of those little phrases. Now the coffee shop chat between friends.
Starts with, hey, long time no see, how are things? Combining two greetings.
Response with news. Good. Actually, really good. I got that promotion I applied for.
Enthusiastic reaction. No way, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you, you totally deserved it. Lots of positive reinforcement.
Then sharing a feeling. Thanks. To be honest, I'm a little nervous about the new responsibilities, though. Using, to be honest.
Understanding. Yeah, I get it. But you'll be great. Don't worry about it. Reassurance mixed in.
Agreement. Yeah, you're right. Thanks. The making plans. So we should celebrate. How about dinner next week? Suggestion.
Confirmation. I'm down for that. Sounds good. Using two agreement phrases.
Closing. Great. Talk to you soon to arrange it. More mending. Again, it sounds completely natural because those phrases are woven in.
Exactly. It shows how these aren't just isolated items to memorize, but parts of a living conversation.
And Sarah finishes with those super quick, almost automatic responses for thank you.
No problem. Anytime. You're welcome. My pleasure. All good options.
For I'm sorry.
It's okay. No worries. Don't worry about it. No problem.
Right.
Again, lots of natural choices.
And for goodbye.
Take care. See ya. See you around. Talk to you later. Catch you later. Makes the parting feel friendlier.
Getting those automatic responses down really helps with fluency, doesn't it?
Hugely. They smooth over those little everyday interaction points. And her final advice is key.
Practice. Daily practice, even just 5 or 10 phrases a day.
Yeah, pick a few, say them out loud, try to use them in a sentence, even if you're talking to yourself in the mirror, just for like 5 minutes.
Get them into your system, make them feel comfortable coming out of your mouth. Use energy, say them like you mean them.
That active recall and vocalization is what makes them stick and become part of your usable English toolkit, not just passive knowledge.
So even though Sarah had that final interactive practice in her lesson, the main takeaway is you got to use them or lose them, basically.
That's the truth for any language skill.
I think it cuts through the awkwardness, that potential silence after, hi,
Good point.
long time no see, just give you somewhere to start. It says,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a while, let's catch up, warmly.
That's a great way to put it. A conversational icebreaker, just for reunions. Okay, so we've said hello. Now, asking how someone is doing. Beyond, how are you?
Right, because how are you can sometimes just get that automatic, fine, thanks, and you.
Yeah, the polite robot response.
Exactly. So Sarah suggests things like, how are things? Or how is everything?
These feel a bit more open, don't they? Less like a question you have to answer with, fine.
Yeah, maybe they invite a slightly realer answer, like about work or family or whatever's actually going on.
Right. Sarah gives examples like, how's everything going with the new project?
Mm.
Or how are things with the kids? It shows you're actually interested in specifics.
It feels less routine, more like you genuinely want to know.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It signals that deeper interest. And Sarah encourages practicing these, right? Thinking about specific situations.
Yeah, like imagining a friend who started a new business, practicing, hey, how are things going with the new shop? And then even picturing their answer, oh, it's crazy busy, but good, thanks for asking.
That mental rehearsal is so powerful. It gets the phrase into your head, makes you feel more comfortable saying it spontaneously, builds confidence.
Definitely. Okay, so we've greeted, we've asked how they are. What about agreeing? When you really want to show you're on the same page.
Right, instead of just yes, which can sometimes sound a bit flat.
Yeah.
Or even like you're cutting them off.
Yeah. So Sarah gives us exactly, and that's so true.
Ah, good ones. Exactly.
Yeah.
Feels like, yes, you said exactly what I was thinking.
Total alignment.
And that's so true. Emphasizes, well, the truth of it. Often connects to a shared feeling or experience.
Like Sarah's examples, someone says, learning English takes time. You say, exactly, you can't rush it.
Yep. Shows you understand the process.
Or if someone says, this heat wave is unbearable. Ooh, that's so true. I can barely sleep. You're adding your own experience.
Right. And that shared experience builds the connection. It's not just agreement. It's like we're in this together. Sarah has a practice scenario too, doesn't she?
She does. Thinking about weekends being too short.
Oh, always too short.
And responding with totally, they just fly by. Or totally, they just vanish. Totally is another great one.
Yeah.
Very casual, strong agreement.
Yeah, totally is super common. Quick, easy, enthusiastic, perfect for casual chat. Okay, so we can agree strongly. What about surprise? When someone tells you something unexpected.
This is where you can really inject some energy. Instead of a kind of weak, oh, really? Sarah suggests, no way, and you're kidding?
Yes, these add that emotional punch. No way.
Huh.
Is like disbelief, maybe excitement.
Right.
You're kidding is maybe a bit more playful, like, seriously, are you pulling my leg?
The examples nail it. Friend says, I won the lottery. You can't just say, oh, really?
Definitely not.
You got to hit him with a, no way, you're kidding, that's amazing. It shows you share their excitement.
Or if someone says something wild like, I met a huge celebrity on the bus today.
You're kidding me. Who was it? Tell me everything. It just pulls you into the story more.
Exactly. It turns you from a passive listener into an active participant. You're asking for more details. And Sarah suggests practicing reactions too, right? Mentally.
Yeah, imagine someone tells you something crazy, like quit their job to join the circus, whatever. React inside with, no way, or you're kidding. Get used to that feeling.
Builds that emotional reaction muscle. So you're ready when it happens for real. Okay, shifting gears, asking for help. How do we do that politely?
Crucial one. Instead of a blunt, help me, which Sarah rightly says can sound demanding.
Yeah, a bit rude maybe.
We use softer options like, can you do me a favor, or would you mind helping me out?
Yes, the politeness factor. Framing it as a favor, asking if they mind, it respects their time, their choice. It's a request, not a demand.
Sarah's examples. Instead of check this email, it's, can you do me a favor and quickly glance at this email?
Much better.
Or instead of give me a ride, it's, would you mind giving me a ride, only if it's not out of your way. The tone is totally different.
Absolutely. Shows consideration. Increases the chance they'll say yes happily. And there's a practice bit here too.
Yep. Imagine needing help moving a heavy box. Practice saying, excuse me, would you mind helping me out with this box for a sec? And imagine them saying, sure, no problem.
Verbalizing it makes it less awkward when you actually need to ask. Builds that conversational muscle memory. Okay, let's flip it. What about offering help?
Seeing someone struggling and stepping in, instead of just watching, you can use, do you need a hand? Or the slightly more open, let me know if you need anything.
Please and direct, but friendly, need a hand is great for immediate practical help.
Yeah, like carrying something.
And let me know if you need anything is broader. Like, I'm here if you need support, just ask.
Sarah's examples. Colleague wrestling with boxes. Hey, do you need a hand with that?
Perfect.
Friend looks totally stressed. You seem overwhelmed. Let me know if you need anything at all. Supportive, not pushy.
It's about being observant, proactive, and again, practice helps.
Right. Imagine seeing a friend trying to carry way too many books. Practice saying, whoa, do you need a hand there? Visualizing helps embed it.
It really does. Cultivates that helpful instinct. Okay, let's talk about plans. agreeing to them casually.
Okay, a really common, relaxed way to agree to something is, I'm down for that. Sarah flags this one.
Oh, yeah, I'm down for that. Or just super casual, shows enthusiasm. Like, yeah, cool, let's do it.
Sarah's example. We're thinking of hitting the beach this weekend. Reply. Oh, awesome. I'm definitely down for that. Sounds much more natural than, yes, I consent to accompany you.
Haha, yeah, just a bit. It's got that easygoing vibe. And another super versatile one for confirming.
Sounds good. Can't go wrong with sounds good.
So useful.
Someone suggests meet at 5. Reply. Sounds good. Simple, clear.
Works for times, places, ideas, pretty much any arrangement. Very efficient. And Sarah has a practice for this too.
Yeah, imagine confirming coffee plans. So, meet at the usual place around 10. Reply. Sounds good. See you then. Easy peasy.
That context makes all the difference, doesn't it? Seeing how it slots into a real exchange. Okay, conversations have to end eventually. How do we do that nicely?
Instead of just vanishing or a curt goodbye, Sarah suggests warmer options like, I'll catch you later or talk to you soon.
These feel less final. They imply you expect to interact again. Keeps the connection open.
Right, like, this was nice. Let's do it again sometime. Sarah's example. Ending a chat with a coworker. Well, great catching up. I'll catch you later. Feels friendly.
It does. Acknowledges the chat was good before you leave.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah encourages thinking about your last conversation.
Yeah, imagine ending it by saying, okay, we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
It makes you think about the closing impression you leave.
Absolutely. Those little choices add up. Shows warmth, respect. Now, what about those little words people tack onto sentences?
The tags, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And, right, Sarah mentions these. Super common, make you sound way more conversational.
Yeah, they're like little nudges, aren't they? Keeping the other person involved, checking if they're following or agree.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Invites them to say, yeah, I totally get it. Like, this project is so draining. You know what I mean? Builds that shared understanding.
And, right, just seeks quick confirmation. That movie was amazing, right? You're asking for their opinion, basically.
Exactly. Makes it more of a two-way street. Less like a lecture. And Sarah has a practice for adding these too.
Yep. Take a statement. This weather makes me sleepy. Add the tag. This weather makes me sleepy. You know what I mean? Say it out loud. It instantly sounds more chatty.
It really does. Turns a statement into an invitation for connection. Okay, quick recap of this first chunk then. We've got greetings beyond high.
Hey, how's it going? What's up? A long time no see.
Asking how someone is. How are things? How's everything?
Agreeing strongly. Exactly. That's so true. Totally.
Showing surprise. No way. You're kidding.
Polite requests. Can you do me a favor? Would you mind helping me out?
Offering help. Do you need a hand? Let me know if you need anything.
Making plans. I'm down for that. Sounds good.
Ending politely. I'll catch you later. Talk to you soon.
And those little tags. You know what I mean? Right.
Phew. Quite a few foundational phrases there.
Yeah, but you can see how they all fit together to make conversations flow better, sound more, well, real.
Exactly. They're the building blocks for that natural back and forth. Moving beyond just facts to actual connection. Okay, ready for the next layer. Expressing emotions, opinions.
Let's do it. So happiness first. Someone shares good news instead of just good.
Which can sound a bit underwhelming.
Right. Sarah gives us, I'm so glad to hear that. That's awesome. And I'm so happy for you.
Much better. Adds warmth, real enthusiasm. Shows you're genuinely pleased for them.
Yeah. Friend gets a promotion. Not just good. It's, wow, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. You totally deserve it.
Big difference. Celebratory. Sarah suggests practicing with things like someone passing a tough exam. That's fantastic. I'm so glad to hear that. Matches their energy.
It's about making your response match the news, making it feel sincere, builds that positive vibe.
Totally. Okay, flip side. Bad news. How do we show sympathy naturally?
For sadder stuff, Sarah suggests, that's too bad, and I'm so sorry to hear that. Simple, direct, but caring.
Essential phrases. Show you're listening, you understand it's negative news, and you care. Empathy.
Sarah's examples are good. Someone says, my cat's been sick. A gentle, oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope she feels better soon. Adding that hopeful bit helps.
It does. Shows you're wishing them well.
Or a friend didn't get a job they wanted. Oh, that's too bad. I'm really sorry to hear that. I know you really wanted it. Acknowledge their disappointment. Maybe add, something else will come along.
Right. Acknowledge the feeling. Offer gentle encouragement. Don't just brush it off. And Sarah prompts practice here too.
Yeah, practicing, I'm so sorry to hear that. Maybe followed by a kind thought. Getting comfortable, offering comfort. Sometimes it's hard to know what to say.
It really is. Having these phrases ready helps you respond appropriately, offer support. Okay, what about just showing you understand someone's situation or feeling? Empathy again.
For that, Sarah gives us, I get it, and I know what you mean. Great for connecting.
Yeah, these build rapport. They say, I understand your perspective, your feeling. Validation, even if you haven't had the exact same experience.
Like a friend says, I'm just so stressed out lately. A good response. Yeah, I get it. Things can get crazy overwhelming sometimes. Makes them feel heard.
Absolutely. Less alone validates their feeling. Sarah has a practice for this one too, right?
Yeah. Responding to, I find it impossible to focus when it's noisy.
Okay.
You say, ugh, I know exactly what you mean. Noise drives me nuts when I'm trying to concentrate. Adding that bit of your own experience makes the empathy stronger.
It does.
Yeah.
Shows you truly relate.
Okay.
Different scenario. You don't understand something. What do?
Ask. Definitely don't just nod and pretend. Sarah gives us, could you say that again? And what do you mean by that?
2 key tools. Could you say that again? Is perfect if you just didn't hear it properly or they spoke too fast.
Right. Physical hearing issue.
Whereas what do you mean by that is more about the meaning. You heard the words, but you're not sure what they're getting at or what a specific term means.
Sarah's example. Someone's talking really fast. Politely jump in. Sorry, could you say that again? I missed the last part. Or they use jargon you don't know. I'm not sure I follow. What exactly do you mean by synergy or whatever the word is? Crucial for clear communication.
Absolutely. Prevents a misunderstanding, keeps everyone on the same page. And Sarah suggests practicing the first one.
Yeah, just practicing, sorry, could you say that again? Getting over the hesitation to ask.
Exactly. Okay, now, those moments when you need a pause to think before you answer. Filler phrases?
Yes, the fillers. They actually make you sound more natural, not less, if used right. Sarah highlights, let me think, and, well, you know.
Right, they bridge the gap, give you a second, let me think. Clearly signals you need a moment to ponder. Well, Karaki's is more versatile, can soften things, fill a pause, imply shared understanding.
Sarah's examples. Someone asks as a deep question, what's your biggest regret? You might say, wow, let me think about that. Sounds natural.
Much better than dead silence.
Or explaining something tricky. It's kind of like, well, when everything feels slightly off, or, well, invites them to relate.
Precisely. These little hesitations are normal, stops you sounding like a script, and Sarah suggests practicing fillers too.
Yeah, like, well, I guess I'd agree with that, or let me see, yeah, that could work. Getting comfortable with those slight pauses.
Takes the pressure off having an instant, perfect answer. Okay, what about making suggestions? Offering ideas?
Sarah gives us friendly ways. How about, and why don't we? More collaborative, less like orders.
Good ones. They invite input. How about, is maybe more open-ended, how about pizza tonight?
Yeah.
Leaves room for discussion.
Right.
Why don't we? Suggests a specific action, but still nicely. Why don't we take a break?
Sarah's examples. Deciding what to do. How about we go for a walk? Solving a problem. Why don't we brainstorm some other options? Sounds inviting.
Fosters that feeling of doing things together. And there's a practice suggestion.
Yep.
Suggesting a movie night. How about we watch that new sci-fi movie everyone's talking about? Simple, friendly offer.
Perfect. Now conversations wander. How do we change the subject smoothly? Avoid that awkward gear shift.
Transition phrases.
Yeah.
Sarah gives us, by the way, and speaking of that, super useful.
They really are. By the way, lets you bring up something unrelated, maybe something you just remembered.
Like, oh, by the way, did you get my email?
Exactly. And speaking of that, links the new topic to what you were just talking about. More seamless.
We were talking about holidays. Speaking of holidays, have you booked your summer trip yet?
Perfect link. Sarah's examples are similar. Talking about weekend plans, then, oh, by the way, I saw a great sale at that shop you like. Or discussing a movie, then, speaking of movies, did you see the trailer for the new Marvel film? Keeps it flowing. And practice helps here too.
Yes. Practice going from talking about lunch to asking, by the way, how's your sister doing? Makes that shift feel natural.
Good skill to have. Okay, disagreements. Tricky one. How to disagree without being disagreeable. Right, you don't want to just say, you're wrong. Sarah offers polite ways. I see your point, but, and I'm not so sure I agree with that.
Key phrases for respectful debate. I see your point, but is great because it first acknowledges their perspective, shows you heard them.
Validates them before you counter.
And I'm not so sure I agree is a softer way to state disagreement. Less confrontational.
Sarah's example. Discussing online versus classroom learning. Instead of, no, classrooms are better, you say, I see your point about flexibility, but I think the face-to-face interaction in classrooms is really valuable, more diplomatic.
Much more. Opens discussion, doesn't shut it down. And there's a practice phrase for this.
Yes. I see your point, but I'd look at it a little differently. Nice, gentle way to offer another view.
Very useful. Okay, what about big surprise? Something really unbelievable happens.
Go beyond no way. Sarah gives us, that's crazy, and I can't believe it. More emphatic.
Yeah, these convey real astonishment. That's crazy is pretty informal, signals something really out there. I can't believe it is a strong expression of disbelief. Genuine shock.
Sarah's example. Someone saw a bear near town. You're kidding, that's crazy. Captures the surprise and maybe slight alarm.
It does. Very natural reaction. And Sarah suggests practicing with amazing travel stories.
Yeah, someone says, I backpacked through Asia for 6 months. You respond, wow, I can't believe it, that's incredible. Match the level of amazingness.
Right. Okay, final one for this section. Reassurance. Someone messes up slightly, feels embarrassed. How do we make them feel better?
Use comforting phrases like, don't worry about it, and it's not a big deal. Downplay the mistake.
So important for smooth interactions. Shows you're forgiving, understanding, reduces awkwardness.
Sarah's classic example. Someone spills coffee. They gasp, oh no, I'm so sorry. You say, oh, don't worry about it. It's just coffee. It happens. Puts them at ease instantly.
Yeah, normalizes it. And the practice scenario.
Responding to someone forgetting to call you back. They say, oh, I totally forgot to call. You say, hey, no worries at all. It's not a big deal. I figured you were busy. Understanding and forgiving.
Perfect. So that covers a lot of emotional and conversational navigation, doesn't it?
Definitely. Expressing feelings, understanding, clarifying, suggesting, disagreeing politely, reacting, reassuring. It's all that stuff that makes conversations feel human.
Exactly. Not just exchanging data, but relating to each other. Okay, let's head into the home stretch. More everyday phrases, and then putting it all together.
Sounds good. So, giving opinions honestly. When you want to signal you're being upfront, Sarah suggests starting with, to be honest, or honestly speaking.
These frame your comment. Signal sincerity, maybe even that the opinion isn't overwhelmingly positive. Candor.
Like Sarah's movie example. To be honest, I thought it was a bit slow. Gentler than just, it was boring.
Right. Or about a meal. Honestly speaking, it was kind of bland, direct, but feels truthful because of the intro and the practice.
Giving feedback on a friend's cooking, they ask, what did you think? You say, to be honest, it's really tasty, but maybe just a tiny bit more salt next time. Constructive honesty.
Good balance. Okay, talking about future plans again. Intentions. Sarah gives us, I'm planning to, and I'm thinking of.
Common ways to talk about the future. I'm planning to. Sounds more definite, like you've decided. I'm thinking of is more exploratory. Still considering it.
There's examples. I'm planning to join a gym versus I'm thinking of traveling next year. Clear difference in certainty and practice for these.
Yeah, practicing, I'm thinking of learning guitar, or I'm planning to visit my parents next month. Makes talking about your future sound natural.
It does. Okay, let's revisit offers and requests, focusing on slightly more formal politeness. Sarah highlights some options.
For offers, she suggests, do you want me to? And the even more polite, would you like me to? That would you like adds extra consideration.
Exactly. Emphasizes their choice. Sarah's examples. Do you want me to carry that? Or maybe more formally at work. Would you like me to draft that email for you?
And for requests, the super polite standbys, could you please? And would it be okay if, essential for formal situations, we're asking bigger favors?
Definitely. Very respectful. Asking, could you please review this document?
Sure.
Or would it be okay if I left a bit early today? Sarah's examples show that clear politeness and practice for both.
Yep. Offer help. Do you want me to grab you a coffee? Ask permission. Would it be okay if I borrow your pen for a moment? Everyday politeness.
Great. Now, giving advice or suggestions again. Different phrasing.
Sarah offers, you should, and if I were you, I'd.
Right. You should is more direct advice. Can be strong. If I were you, I'd softens it by framing it as your personal hypothetical action. Less like you're telling them what to do.
Sarah's examples. You're coughing a lot. You should probably see a doctor. Direct. Versus, that's a tough decision. If I were you, I'd take some more time to think about it. Softer. And practice. Suggesting a restaurant. You should try the new place on Main Street. Offering advice. If I were you, I'd call them first. Practical examples.
Good ones. Okay, back to agreement, but the quick, concise versions.
Sarah reminds us of the simple powerhouses. That's true. I agree. And Exactly. Short, clear, effective.
Super versatile, work anywhere. Agreeing about needing sleep, that's true. Agreeing learning takes effort, exactly. Sarah's examples show how simple they are. And the practice.
Just responding to an opinion, someone says, traffic was awful today. Say, yeah, I agree, or that's true. Simple acknowledgement.
Perfect. Now the flip side again. Gentle disagreement or offering a different view, concisely.
Sarah gives us, I'm not so sure about that, and that might be true, but polite ways to express doubt or contrast.
Mm-hmm. Introduce that different perspective without being harsh. Sarah's example. Someone says, waking up early is always best. You could say, I'm not so sure about that. I'm definitely more productive at night. Gentle counter. And practice.
Responding to fast food is the greatest invention ever.
Okay.
You could say, that might be true for convenience, but I'm not sure it's the healthiest option. Acknowledges part of it, adds another angle.
Nicely done. Okay, more casual fillers, those little softeners or uncertainty markers.
Kara mentions, you know what I mean. Again, plus kind of and sort of. Very common in informal speech.
Right. Add informality, soften things, show something isn't exact. Kind of and sort of mean approximately or to some extent. Sarah's examples. The party was fun but kind of loud. I'm sort of busy right now, you know what I mean? Very natural.
Yeah.
Practice.
Yeah, it's sort of confusing. You know what I mean? Expresses mild confusion and checks if they relate.
Very relatable phrase. Okay, confirming things using question tags again.
Sarah revisits right and isn't it? Tacked onto statements.
Yeah. Turn statements into confirmation questions. Engage the listener. Sarah's examples. Nice weather, isn't it? You finished the project right. Seeking agreement or confirmation. And practice.
Practice. You spoke to Alex, right? And this restaurant is great, isn't it? Simple tags. Big impact on flow.
They really do keep it interactive. Okay, needing to leave politely when you're busy.
Sarah gives us the quick exits. I've got to run, and I'm in a bit of a hurry. Clear signals you need to leave.
Polite but firm. Communicate the need without being rude. Sarah's example. Sorry, I'd love to chat more, but I've really got to run. Let's talk later. Smooths the exit. And practice.
Just practice saying both phrases aloud so they feel natural when you need them.
Good advice. Lastly, expressing uncertainty or needing to check something.
Sarah suggests, I'm not sure, and the very useful let me check and get back to you. Great for avoiding wrong answers.
Absolutely. Honest and responsible. Works casually and professionally. Sarah's examples. Asked if you're free. I'm not sure. Let me check my calendar and get back to you. Asked how to fix something. I'm not sure, but let me find out for you. And useful everywhere.
Totally. Buys you time, shows you'll follow up, manages expectations.
Great phrases. Okay, so we've covered a ton of individual phrases. Now, Sarah puts them together in example conversations, right? To see how they actually work in context.
Yes. The first is a workplace chat. Colleague, hey, how's your day going? You, not bad, kind of busy, but okay. Colleague, same here, snowed under. You, yeah, I get it. It's relentless, you know what I mean?
Okay, good use of how's going. Not bad. Same here, I get it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Flows nicely.
Then the colleague shifts. By the way, did you finish that client report? You, nearly. Just polishing it. I'll send it over later today. Colleague, sounds good, thanks. See, by the way, sounds good. Seamless integration.
It really shows how these phrases grease the wheels of everyday interaction. Makes it sound completely natural. What's the second example?
Coffee with a friend you haven't seen for ages. Friend 1. Hey, Sarah, long time no see. What's new? Friend 2. Hi. Yeah, ages. Well, guess what? I started a new job. Friend 1. No way! That's awesome. Congrats. I'm so happy for you.
Great start. Long time no see. What's new? No way. That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. Perfect and enthusiastic response.
Friend 2 continues. Thanks. It's great, but honestly a bit overwhelming getting started. Friend 1 shows empathy. Wow, I know exactly what you mean. New beginnings are tough, but it sounds exciting.
Good use of honestly. And I know exactly what you mean. Very relatable.
Friend 2 agrees. Exactly. So how about we grab dinner next week to celebrate properly? Friend 1 confirms. Sounds good to me. Let's do it. Then the closing. Awesome. Well, great seeing you. Talk to you later.
Perfect blend again. Exactly. How about? Bryn, sounds good to me. Talk to you later. It just flows like a real chat between friends.
These examples really drive home how these aren't just isolated phrases, but part of the fabric of natural conversation.
Couldn't agree more. They work together. And Sarah finishes with some super quick, almost automatic responses, right?
Yeah, the essentials. Someone says thanks, reply, no problem, or anytime. Someone apologizes, it's okay, or no worries. Saying goodbye casually. Take care. See you around. Talk to you later.
These need to become reflexes, almost. Using them smoothly makes a huge difference to overall fluency.
Totally. And her final advice is key. Practice. Daily. Even just 5-10 phrases. Say them out loud.
Set a timer for 5 minutes, she suggests. Just speak them with energy. Get used to the sound, the feel.
That active practice is what makes them stick, makes them become your phrases, not just things you learned.
Absolutely. It's about internalizing them, building that conversational muscle memory. Sarah's final practice round in the lesson, where she pauses for the listener to respond, is all about that active recall.
Right, we won't do that here, but the principle is vital. Use them or lose them, basically. Active use is everything.
So wrapping up this deep dive into these, 100 super useful phrases, what's the big takeaway for you?
For me, it's just reinforcing that fluency isn't just about big words or perfect grammar. It's so much about these everyday connectors, these little phrases that make conversations smooth, friendly, and natural. They're the difference between just speaking English and actually communicating effectively, connecting with people, sounding like, well, like you.
Beautifully put. It's about engaging, not just transmitting data. These phrases are the toolkit for that engagement.
So the challenge to you, listening, is to start using them. Pick a few, say them out loud, try slipping them into your next conversation, even if it feels a bit weird at first.
Yeah, maybe make it a conscious goal. Use 3 new phrases today, or 5. Then think about it afterwards. How did it feel? Which ones felt easy? Which need more practice?
That reflection is so important. Be mindful. Notice the impact. That's how you really integrate them.
So go experiment. Try them out. See how they transform your conversations. It's about those small, consistent steps towards speaking English more confidently and naturally. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive today.
Yeah, thanks for digging into the nuts and bolts of everyday English with us.
Until next time, keep practicing, keep talking, and keep learning.